Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this Twitter space this evening. My name is Kemoy Burke. I'm the brand and communications manager here at Lynk. As you know, Lynk is the first and only digital wallet here in Jamaica. And I think Christopherson is all good now. So,
You can hear
Chris,
me
I'm going to
now?
hand back over to you. Yes, we're hearing you perfectly clear.
Gotcha. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Had major. I'm not sure what's happening on my side. First, like I see myself double in the chat. Like when I leave the space, I see myself again. I was like, maybe I have my account. I was wondering, so I just had to reset my phone and then jump back in. So good evening again, everybody. Kemoy, thank you for having me as a host. And I was excited to talk about this new thing as a link talking about with CBDC, with BOJ, and just kind of get into the details of what it really means. Yeah. So tell me more. We're gonna get into more of it. Um, I wanted to share some other insights from Link, but before that, Kimmo, you want to share anything that the person may want to get interested about leading up to the discussion? What can they expect? Just to kind of to share ahead of time.
Yeah, man, no problem. All right. So, first of all, as we all know, Minister Nigel Clark announced in Parliament this week.
Yeah,
Firstly, he did the first official CBDC JamDex transaction to his barber Paul, using the Link platform to execute that. He also advised us that the first 100,000 people who create a digital wallet for JamDex after April 1 will get $2,500. I mean, that's a tremendous investment by the government, and it shows their belief in the digital currency and the JamDex itself. Um, and yeah, so that's where we are, Link Nation, as I would call it. Currently, we have over 125,000 downloads. We're approaching 700 small businesses, micro merchants, hustlers. All of them. Let's just
yeah.
capture them all in one
So
place. So we are growing, and it's good to see.
all right, great. So for context for persons just listening, we have John Matthew Sinclair, who is the product chief at Link, and Mr. Murray Griffiths, who is the director at Payment System Policy and Development at the Payment System Policy and Development Department at BOJ. Just to kind of give us more, I would say, credibility behind what we're saying in terms of explaining what does it really mean for both the BOJ and Link, and of course explaining from a very simpler level what this really means for the impact of Jamaica and how persons can use it, moving forward. Um, so I really want to invite John just to kind of share, what is Link, just as a simple person listening, but also how Link is involved with what BAJ is talking about. And then after, I'd love to involve Mr. Griffiths just to explain more about what the CBDC is about with Jamaica, why they did that direction, especially I have some questions, especially why they didn't do a why they did a non-blockchain perspective with the CBDC, which is very interesting. So I love to open the floor to John.
All right, thank you very much, Chris. And again, thanks to all joining to hear about Link and CBDC. I think we are in some truly exciting times, and not just with the private sector, but the public sector is also on a big initiative and drive to digitize Jamaica. And being at Link, it's a real opportunity for us to be a part of this movement. So, what is Link? So, right now, Link is a digital wallet offering P2P services and services where
Yeah.
persons can eventually pay bills and mobile top up, etc. But the big thing about it is that we're not just a wallet. Link is expanding into what we like to call a payment platform or a super app. So essentially, very soon you'll be able to do most of your day-to-day transactions within the wallet, and we'll be extending the wallet to offer other services that most persons find difficult doing now because it's mostly cash based. And we are excited because this ties into the government's drive to bring in a central bank
Mm-hmm.
digital currency, which helps with financial inclusion, cross bank transactions and all the exciting things that Mario is going to talk about are related to CBDC. But for us, what we want to provide at Link is a platform for the banked and the unbanked and the hesitant and the excited to transact on a day-to-day basis, frictionless.
Okay, but I think maybe one of the main questions people want to know is Link safe? Is Link can I trust Link with my information? Is there a way, let's say if there's a leak, is there any way to protect me as a consumer? I'm sure people want to know. So yeah.
All right, so let me tackle that from two angles. The first angle is that we are regulated by the Bank of Jamaica, right? So there are strict policies and processes that we have to adhere to ensure that we can even exist in this financial space. So that's one. So we are regulated. We have, all of the requirements that allow us to participate. There's a BOJ sandbox and certification that comes with it. And secondly, security is at the forefront of what we're doing. We're talking about people's identity and their money. So
Yeah.
we have put in world-class and industry standard security features and protocols to protect not just your phone, but your identity as you interact and transact on the platform. So, for those of you who have not signed up as yet, please do. But for those of you who have signed up, realize that we are utilizing a lot of the biometric. So your face becomes that second factor, right? It's very difficult for somebody to. We're not
Okay.
cloning bodies as
All
yet.
right. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
No, I want to invite a Griffith now. Yeah, I want to invite Mr. Griffith now to share now what is the Jamaican CBDC. Explain it in terms of the expectations behind it, the impact or the impending impact Jamaica can expect from the CBDC. What does it really mean for the average man in Jamaica seeing this rollout in their country? Yeah, I'd love to for Mr. Griffith to speak more about that.
Sure. Thank you very much. You've asked quite a bit of questions. I've been jotting them down, but let me start
The
off with
people that want to know.
yeah, man, not a problem. Let me start off with what is CBDC, and that's CBDC in its simplest form is a digital form of central bank issued currency and is therefore legal tender. So, if you have a $100 in your pocket, what we're doing is sort of digitizing that money that's in your purse, your wallet, and we're placing that in a digital form. And that's pretty much in a nutshell what central bank digital currency is. Now, you've asked, why are we moving in this direction? And one of the key objectives is to support, Jamaica's digital transformation. And we do this by, facilitating a digital version of, the Jamaican dollar. And that for us is the foundation on which every other innovation will now, connect into. And certainly you recognize that CBDC is in keeping with the efforts of the government of Jamaica to propel
Okay.
digitization, across the public sector. And it also fits within, their Vision 2030 roadmap. So pretty much that's some of the reasons why. But a key to that is, an objective which is financial inclusion. We want to
I get
contribute.
it.
Go ahead.
So what? So here's my thing now. Why would somebody want to get a CBDC, which is JamDex? Why would somebody switch from JMD cash in hand to JamDex? What's that benefit for them? Because
There
right
are a
now
number of
it's like
benefits.
telling somebody to get some, made up money for real money, if you get what I mean.
There are a number of benefits, right? And certainly we would have touched on financial inclusion, but to delve a little deeper, it will be easier for you to access, your CBDC wallet. You'd have heard the minister speak about lower KYC. So we're talking about your identification as well as, that's a government issued ID as well as your TRN. So those are some of the simple ways of accessing CBDC. Now, when you talk about what's the benefit to an individual, the public, the Jamaican public, I should say, they're the safety
Mhm.
benefit. You no longer need to walk around with large amounts of cash. You can have that CBDC or that amount of money in CBDC and stored on your mobile device walking around and nobody sees any bulge in your pocket. And then there's a convenience. It's very convenient to know that you can spend your money anytime, anywhere. So if you don't have any cash, no problem. And then the last point I like to make here is the cost. I mean, it's cheap, no cost at all.
Okay. So this means eventually I'll be able to, if somebody like a Miss Annie with her cook shop can accept CBDC. So eventually there's gonna be some type of framework like that, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. And I
And I
believe
guess, and I guess just connecting the dots is where Link come into place where they're that a first approved e-wallet right now. I'm just kind of connect the dots.
that's
Right,
correct.
John?
So what you have is the CBDC ecosystem, and then Link is now tied into that ecosystem where they'll be providing to their customers and retail market CBDC wallet, which will now hold CBDC, that's the Jamaican dollar in digital form, and then the customer can do anything they want with it, really.
All right. But from more technical side, right? So would the JamDex be like a ratio to like 1 to 1 to the Jamaican dollar?
Definitely. It
And
is the Jamaican dollar.
is that throughout, or is gonna change in time in the future?
Not at all, not at all. So, this, as I mentioned before, it's backed by the central bank and it is legal tender. So if you have one Jamaican dollar coin in, or $50, it will be $50 in JamDex. And that's what you'll see reflected as your balance. So there won't be any fluctuation because CBDC is not like cryptocurrencies. As you recognize, cryptocurrency isn't backed by a central authority, it tends to be issued by a private entity, and based on the demand, the prices of our cryptocurrency tend to fluctuate. And that's not what CBDC or JamDex is. This is a digital representation of your physical banknotes.
Chris, let me just take this opportunity to invite persons, everyone who is listening here, that if you have any additional questions for Mario or for John, that you can just put out a tweet with the hashtag link up, and our community managers will be monitoring it for the Q&A section, which is coming shortly. So just to repeat it, just send a tweet with the hashtag LYNKUP, and we will answer your questions as well. Back over to you, Chris. Okay, I see where Chris is reconnecting. Look, seems like he's having some kind of technical issues. We're trying to solve that. But John, back to you. Earlier you were talking about Link and how the JamDex will be integrated. Can you delve a little bit deeper into that?
Sure. All right, good question. So, the way we look on it now, as Mario would have mentioned, it's the digital representation of the physical currency. So what you would notice in Link is Link now has multi-currency. We have the Jamaican dollar existing within the wallet, and now we have the central bank JamDex as a second currency issued in the wallet. And as you know, for us to get access to JamDex, we had to partner with a participating bank. In this case, it's the NCB, and NCB issues the currency to our wallet, and then the participants can utilize the currency. As you know, JamDex is free of charge, and it is a no fee currency. So that's one of the most exciting components of it. So if you want to send money between banks now, there is usually a charge, right? Unless you're going to take out the cash and physically carry it to the colleague. However, through JamDex, the cross bank, which really doesn't exist anymore, but now you can send money through between participants, irrespective of their bank, or irrespective if they're banked or unbanked, free of charge. And that's one of the most exciting components that the CBDC brings to the Jamaican financial ecosystem. So if you when you get your Link wallet, you would opt in to get access to CBDC, and then you can start to transact in CBDC. You'll get a QR code that you can utilize to share with your other wallet holders. You can scan the code, you can send the money, or you can just look them up, similar to what the minister did on Tuesday in Parliament. Search for your barber, your hairdresser, your friend, and then send them CBDC instantly from your phone.
All right, thanks for that. And let me ask you one more question before I hand back over to Christopherson, since he's back online. You mentioned that you just have to opt in for the JamDex. So my question to you, is there a benefit of having Lynk prior to that April 1 date?
Well, it's all about the excitement, right? So the government, and I think it was mentioned earlier, the government is going to give away $2,500 as at April 1st to the first 100,000 customers who get a wallet. So before you get the CBDC wallet, as I mentioned, you have to opt in. In other words, the best thing you do is get a Lynk wallet first. And then on April 1st, within the wallet, you will see the opt-in option for CBDC. And then once you click on that and you opt in, you then qualify for the incentive benefit that the government will be issuing, depending on the process that is put in place to distribute the funds. But I would recommend that you get the wallet early. You start to watch the space. We'll be making our announcements once the button is available. And when it's available, you opt in, and then you wait on the incentive from the government.
I say it easy.
As easy as that.
You know, first the people that think a scam.
No, well, that's why we are here. We're here to show that
That's
there are
true.
real
That's true.
people working on this thing. And again, we are regulated by the BOJ. We are a part of the NCB Financial Group. We are an established business. Though we are a startup and very exciting, we do come with a lot of legitimate backing. So
Okay,
these
that's
type
it.
of
That's it.
sessions are what we're using to ensure that people know that we are here for the people. We want all the feedback possible, and the plan is that we want to allow our customer base to benefit from the distribution of funds from the government and the CBDC.
Well, we have persons here, and I love to open the floor to them if they love to share their feedback, any questions, query, anything regarding the CBDC, JamDex, and Link, because it's really it's an open floor and open space just to kind of share on your concerns, maybe ideas and thought process on how Jamaica can be more impactful in this way forward. It's really just an open floor, so anybody can share whatever questions they may have.
All right, Shawnee, I saw that you have a question. Over to you.
Hi, good night, everyone. All right, so thank you guys for having this space. I've already signed up for the app, etc. And as a small business owner here in Jamaica, my quick question is, overseas payments are going to be accepted? I'm sorry if I'm not as versed because I'm recently signed up. I'm not going to lie. But will overseas payment be able to be accepted, or is it just local, or will it all be local for now? That's my question.
All right, excellent question. So let me tell you, we have plans in place. Not it's not available in the app as yet, but we do have plans in place to unlock overseas payments within the platform. So again, watch the space. I heard you said that you're a small business. I hope that you have signed up on our website to be listed as a small business, and also with our newsletter, you'll get information around some of the new things that we're going to add to the platform over time. And one of them will definitely fit into your value chain in terms of accepting payments from overseas.
Okay, got you. All right, no problem. I do have more questions, but I'll wait, but for so far, thank you.
No, you can ask, Shawnee. You can ask. It's very open floor.
All right, Shawnee, we'll take one more from you, and then I will move on to Steph C, and then Tevin after.
All right, no problem. I do want to ask a question as regards to similarities with another player that's happening. Well, I don't know if it's same, but there's another Caribbean-based player right now that is doing the same QR code scanning to do payments. I did see when I was signing up that it mentioned a lot about you're not going to use any POS, etc. It's really pushing online, and I love that. What I was going to ask, or is asking, is will you also be able to do things like if I make a website and I'd like to have a subscription situation going on and the money can be pulled? I don't know if I'm going too far or broad with this, but I'm just asking if that's like something you guys are thinking about, especially, for example, well, maybe not me, but for somebody that may be selling a product, because I'm a service, but let's say I do start some kind of consultation, I'd want to be able to pull for some subscription-based service. Would that be an option available?
Absolutely. So, Shanice, what we are working on in the background as well is an actual side of the platform to facilitate merchant transactions. So right now, what you're using is our consumer app. And yes, the consumer app can be used for micro merchants and small businesses. But we are going to be very soon launching a platform specific to merchants who want to do those larger type of transactions and deeper engagements with their customer base online. So to answer your question, yes, you'll be able to integrate it into your website at some point in time, or into your mobile app if you have one, your native mobile app if you have one, and accept payments through these channels directly into your bank account.
All right, thanks for that response, John. I really appreciate it. And this is a question for Mario from somebody on one of our other social media channels. Can JamDex be transferred to local and international accounts?
So let me just see if I interpret your question. Can it be used locally and can it be used overseas?
Yes, if you can break it down that way, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, JamDex is mainly for domestic, for use in Jamaica, domestic market only. Right. We're not at this time thinking about cross border with JamDex. Certainly, the existing cross-border arrangements, such as remittance, wire transfers, and so forth. You can utilize JamDex to facilitate payment for that type of transaction, but we're not aiming to integrate with any other, CBDC system at this point in time. Certainly want to get it right at home, and I think this initiative is very new. We wouldn't want to move in that direction at this point in time.
All right, thank you for that. Steph C, over to you.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, evening by now. I'm actually asking in regards to, I did hear him state that it's going to be mostly domestic for the time being, but with the new effect of everything that's happening, cryptocurrency, NFTs, and other options, and Jamaica being on one of the most, well, as if some persons would say, grey list, because it's very difficult for us in the island to use any of our cards and our own personal money to even buy into these other things that we see have other options outside of earning in the country. So my question is, will the new CBDC currency be effective for purchasing other type of tokens in the future, or is that just not going to be a case?
I mean, in your question, you've raised a very key point. You mentioned grey list, and there are a number of reasons for that. Cryptocurrencies, as you know, is not regulated in a lot of countries, and for larger countries such as China, India, they are seeking to ban cryptocurrencies, mainly because of the activities that they facilitate. Certainly, it's against international standards such as the money laundering activities. Um, so, certainly those are things that we are considering and we have to guard against to ensure that we are not, we're off the gray list. And certainly if illegal activities are being facilitated on cryptocurrency platforms, then certainly integrating your JamDex into that will definitely keep us on the gray list. And that's not what we're seeking to do. We want to be off the gray list. So that's not something we foresee in the near future.
All right, thanks for that again, Mario. And we're over to Tevin Johnson next. not sure if Tevin stepped away,
Hello.
but again, oh, he's here. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Tevin.
I want to ask. I downloaded the app yesterday and I was trying to connect my NCB account to it, but it's saying it does not affiliated with this account. I tried a different bank and it is saying that I will have to, after a certain while, linking will um generate a cost to service the account or something like that. What will be the monthly cost from a different bank to work the linking app?
Hey Tevin, John here. So I I really don't. I am trying to understand the experience and flow. So I'm going to ask that we probably take this one offline so that we can do a deep dive into what you're experiencing. Because there are no costs on the platform as it stands right now. So you shouldn't be seeing anything related to costs. So we'll take your information and then we'll reach out to you to go through that experience to understand what's happening and have it rectified.
All right, thanks for that, John. I'm going to use this opportunity just to give a little bit of information to everyone here. So with Lynk, you are able to connect your NCB bank account where you're able to cash into the wallet free of charge. Other cashing methods currently also include cashing in with any Visa or MasterCard enabled debit or credit card. And that fee is currently covered by Lynk. All right, so those are the two caching options that you have. And one key element also is that link-to-link transfers will always be free. So whether you're using JMD dollars via Link or JamDex via Link, that transaction will always be free. Another question here, Mario, from another user is what is the minimum amount of cash required to open a JamDex account?
Well, for JamDex, and I'll hand over to John, but I'll start. Certainly, there are no limits. I can say that. But certainly, what I would want to say is similar to my response for the cryptocurrency question earlier. If it is that your customer, right, it has a particular risk profile, then that is where uh, the wallet provider, in this case, these are deposit taking institutions or authorized payment service provider, will determine what that risk is and the risk that they're willing to take. And based on that, we'll be able to set the limit for the wallet. But certainly, CBDC is low risk because you have to sign up with a wallet provider. The wallet provider knows who you are. So you're completing all the necessary know your customer and customer due diligence with that wallet provider so they know who you are. So it's up to them to conduct their risk-based assessment on the customer to determine if a limit is required or not.
All right, thank you for that. And just for the benefit of everyone listening, I'm going to ask John to differentiate between low KYC bank account and having a JamDex account with Link.
All right, having some internet issues, so I'm hoping that you can hear me clearly. You guys sounded choppy on my side. So Kemoy, can you confirm if I'm clear on your side?
Yeah, man, you're clear.
Okay, perfect. All right, so there were two things that I heard. One was about the limits, and Mario had mentioned that it's on the institution, in this case, Link, to determine what the limits are. So this is something that we're working on now to ensure that we put in limits that are extremely relevant and attractive to the customer base, depending on the information that you provide to us through the Know Your Customer, in this case, the KYC process. So I'm going to use that to segue into low KYC and a JamDex wallet. So luckily for us, low KYC is a government issued ID, and the physical presence to know that the person who submitted the ID is the person who owns the ID. We have instituted and put in technology to do that remotely. So what you have to do now with Link is the same thing. Provide us with a government issued ID, that's your passport, your voter's ID, or your driver's license. And you're going to do a liveness test, which is like taking a selfie. where we determine that the person behind the camera is real. So you have to do some movement and you have to say a couple words. And then we're going to compare your face to the ID and ensure that the person, again, is the same person on that ID. Once all this is verified, your wallet is open. And those are the same requirements for a JamDex account. So these things make it very easy for you to onboard into the wallet. It is similar to low KYC, but we're doing it digitally. So now you can sit down at home in your living room and onboard into the wallet. And then, of course, opt into CBDC to access the currency.
So in very short terms, one of the key differences or the biggest value is that to get the low KYC bank account, it requires you to visit a physical location. Whereas to get a JamDex account with Lynk, all you have to do is have a face, a smartphone, and a government issued ID. Correct?
That is correct.
All right, thanks for that. I'm going to take another question now from, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Is it Tian?
Yeah, man. Hi. Evening.
Evening, sir.
Evening. Yeah, man. This is actually Giovanni Swaby. On Tian's account. I'm just looking through in terms of this digital currency in itself. There have been, things going around as it relates to digital currencies. What is the possibility with these sorts of currencies that, if you want to call it, there can be limitations on person's ability to, over time, buy or use it for certain purchase of goods or services? Can your digital ability to purchase digitally be cut off summarily? That sort of thing. What's the risk of that? How is that monitored? To ensure, although you might have the know your customer aspect of it, but how do we know that the regulators themselves at any one point in time will not get ahead of themselves, for example? Let me just put it that way. So what will be in place to ensure that people still have an ability to have free will to buy what they want, when they want, how they want, without that of possible limitation or possibly that of sanctions? When we think about China having a social credit system, maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but when you think of things like that and you think of a digital currency, then I think maybe you have an idea where I'm going with this. So tell us a little bit more about those sorts of checks and balances with these sorts of digital currencies.
Sure. So that's a very good question. Thanks for that, Giovanni. So as it relates to, the big question that you've mentioned is, will the Bank of Jamaica be tracking or tracing, your activities, and will we be able to lock you out of the digital space? And the answer for that is no, right? And that's from the perspective that your personally identifiable information sits within your wallet provider, in this case, Lynk. So once you've registered, they would be the institution that would have your information. So the central bank won't know. What we receive is just aggregate data on the transaction, just for economic analysis. So if you think about it, we will only know the serial number that's on your digital note, and that's about it. So we won't know that you are you, unless you are flagged by the wallet provider for engaging in illicit activities, and then there are mechanisms around that to prevent that from happening, because that's the type of activity that gets Jamaica on the grey list. You understand? So certainly not from our perspective, but I'm not sure if there's from the Lynk side, if there's the ability to freeze an account, and if that type of capability exists.
All right. So thanks for that, Mario. So, I think that's a very valid question. The idea is that we want to protect people on the platform, right? So we do have systems in place that monitor usage, monitor activity, to ensure that we're not seeing trends that we think are suspect or they're susceptible to getting us on the gray list because of the activities being performed. No, are we going to be intrusive and lock down an account? Absolutely not. Um, we are in this for free will. It's for free spending. It's for you. You need the ability to transact digitally, and that's what we want to promote. But there are some scenarios that we'll be looking into, the common known scenarios that we're going to be looking into to ensure that the system itself is not put at risk. And therefore, the Jamaican digital ecosystem for spending is not blacklisted or grey listed due to the promotion of this type of activity. But to answer the question, we wanted to spend freely. We wanted to have an experience where things are instant and delightful in your transactions, and therefore we don't want you to think that you're being monitored by, some superpower around how to utilize the platform. Absolutely not. This platform is built for the people to transact, and therefore we want you to transact freely on the platform.
All right, thanks for that, John. Stuart, I know you have a question. I was going to ask you to hold it 1 second. Let me take a question from the feed. It asks, will it be possible to exchange different cryptocurrency for JamDex and vice versa? This one is to you, Mario.
All right, so I'll try to interpret the question. I didn't hear it clearly. So is it that JamDex will be integrated or connected with other cryptocurrencies? Is that the question?
I think they're asking maybe conversion.
Yeah, I think that's
Can
the
JamDex
question.
be converted to another cryptocurrency and vice versa?
Oh, right. So, and I'll just say no. I'll just say no. And one of the reasons, we have provided earlier was mainly from the perspective of the risks, right? And that's given as based on the fact that there may be, cryptocurrencies are regulated, as I mentioned, and certainly if it was, then, chances are that it may be lower risk, but certainly they have been deemed to facilitate illegal activities, and certainly we don't want our system to be integrated with a cryptocurrency provider or virtual asset provider that engages in that type of activity, because it raises the risk for our country, Jamaica. And we've been talking about grey list already, and certainly we don't want to keep us on there. We want to come off that list. So that's not something we're foreseeing at this point in time. Yeah, but I think it's good to share that, the technology on the cryptocurrency, and this is a good time to respond to your initial question around why non-blockchain. There's nothing wrong with the technology underneath cryptocurrency. I think it's a fabulous technology. But in terms of, us, Bank of Jamaica, and utilizing a non-blockchain, it's not that we have anything against blockchain. We actually took an agnostic approach to the technology. Certainly, we received solutions that were blockchain based, those that were hybrid, which tied, blockchain and traditional or conventional hardware technology and servers all together.
Yeah.
But certainly, if it is that, the technology that cryptocurrencies sit on, comes to Bank of Jamaica's doorstep, and it's mainly as a wallet provider. It's a mobile wallet that is used or facilitated by the blockchain technology, and certainly we'll take a look at it. So no issues against blockchain technology, but certainly cryptocurrency poses a different level of risk.
Okay, we got you. We got you. Just to kind of pivot to the different question, because somebody asked on the timeline, is there a cost to the consumer to convert fiat money to JamDex and vice versa?
So I'll tell that one. No, that will be free. You can convert the traditional Jamaican currency into JamDex at no cost.
And no cost.
Right.
Okay.
All right, Stuart.
Hi, good evening, and thanks for doing this space. Hi, Mario. My question is simple. I wanted to know if the $1 million transaction limit on the poker for cash transaction would apply to JamDex.
Only if your wallet provider says it does, and that is all dependent on their assessment of you as a customer and the risk that you pose to that entity. So it's for them to receive all the information that you would have provided for signing up, look at your activities and the potential activities, and then conduct their own internal risk assessment. And based on that, they will determine what your limit is. It could be 1 million, it could be less, or it could be more. John?
Okay, just a clarifying question. So, in a case where, say, Link approves me for a limit of over $1 million, would it mean that it would not be deemed illegal to conduct that transaction? I just want to be clear on that.
Not illegal at all. No.
No, 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 no.
All right,
Okay.
thanks for that question, Stuart. So we have this question. I think you answered it earlier, Mario, but since another person asked it, maybe many others also have the same question. What kind of privacy is afforded to persons who use JamDex for transactions? How is the data stored and how accessible is it?
All right, so I would have mentioned a portion of the data privacy, in response to Giovanni's question of locking out an individual. And certainly, I would like to say that your information, your personally identifiable information, or your digital footprint, who you are, is that sits within your wallet provider. So in this case, if you sign up for Lynk, Lynk is the only one that will know that you are who you say you are, and they're the ones that will be engaging in the KYC and CDD, all of that due diligence that's required. So certainly we won't know who you are, and I've mentioned before, we would only have information pretty much on just a serial number of your banknote. So in this case, it's the serial number of that digital currency that you'll be having. So, and we'll only be using that for economic analysis, just understanding the flow and circulation of money. So we will not have your information, and it's up to your institution to keep your data private, and that's something that we will hold them as a central bank regulator to. So that's it. You'll be certainly protected from a data protection standpoint.
So
No,
I'll
that's
jump
great.
into that
And
in terms of
I
how
like that
Link
John
can.
is jumping in. I
Yeah,
like that you're
I'll jump
jumping
in.
in, John. Because my next question to you, John, from
Okay.
the Link side, what securities? Same question. What securities are there for users of Link? Like, many persons, they are a little bit apprehensive to take the pictures of their national ID, whether that is their driver's license, passport, or voter's ID, and they're also a little hesitant to do the facial verification. So,
Right.
what can you say to the listeners here today so that they can say to their friends and families about the Link's security procedures?
You broke up in the last part, so let me complete the sentence. But yes, so security again is big for us. Your data that we capture is encrypted. It exists only in Link. It's not shared with any other entity. Staff members actually don't have access to the data once it's in there. The only way that you can do certain transactions is if you, the customer who uploaded that data, interface with it. We have no intention of sharing your personal data with any other entity either. And that is a part of our data protection protocols that we would have put in place. The beauty about it is that we are regulated, and Jamaica has even put in laws in place around the Data Protection Act is being put in place to ensure that consumers are protected when they share information with any institution. So we have to adhere to these things, and we have to ensure that you, the customer, feel extremely safe and protected by providing us with that information. So the security protocols that we would have put in place is the fact that the information is not even stored here; it's stored in the cloud. You can't walk into a data center and pull out a hard drive and take it out. No, no, no. We're not doing anything like that. It's all remote. It's all secure, and therefore we ensure that any transaction, whether it be onboarding or any transaction P2P or peer to merchant, they're all encrypted, and they're all behind a ring fence of security protocols when you're transacting.
All right, thanks for that again, John. You're breaking up a little bit. I'm not sure if everybody captured that. But the essence of what I captured, just to repeat it for those who might not have captured it, is that we're using state-of-the-art security. All the data is encrypted and stored outside of Jamaica. It's not stored on a hard drive that can be hacked. It's in the cloud, and that in and of itself also has some state-of-the-art security systems and relays and all that thing to keep the data and your money safe. Am I right? Did I capture it well?
Yeah, just switch connection. You hear me better now?
A little bit better.
Okay. Yeah, you did. I heard you clearly. So that was what I was trying to say.
All right, and just another question, a point of clarity here for another listener. Does having a Link account means that I automatically have a JamDex account as well, or are there two different entities?
So I'm hoping that I'm clear now. And the connection is smooth, but there are two different things. So you get a Link wallet and you can utilize the Link ecosystem to transact and pay. JamDex, you can opt into JamDex and you can start to utilize that central bank digital currency on the Link rails. So essentially, you'll have two wallets or two instruments to transact with, but they all exist within your phone on the Link. So once you get your Link wallet, you can then opt in, and JamDex will become a currency within that wallet.
All right, great, thank you. So each Link user will have to opt in, and you're saying that the benefits of having Link prior to the April 1 date that the minister stated is that you will have that opt-in option immediately instead of having to visit a physical location. Correct?
That's correct.
All right, guys, you can keep the questions coming. I have one more question from another user. They are asking, and this is to Mario, is the intention to have digital currency being used by both small and large companies?
I'll say yes, but I'll hand that one over to John.
Can you repeat that question, please, Kemo? You're breaking up.
So the question is the intention to have digital currency, that is JamDex or digital JMD, used by both small and large companies?
Of course. The plan is that by the end of the year, JamDex and digital money and Link will be everywhere. So at the large merchants, the small merchants, to your next door neighbor, everybody should be on the platform.
Yeah, the idea there is to ensure that we build that ecosystem. You want to have the users, but you also need to have merchants, somewhere to spend it rather than transfer it between each other. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build that what we call critical mass, where everybody that needs to be on is on, and we can transact seamlessly throughout the ecosystem.
Mara, I'm going to thank you for bringing up that particular term, the ecosystem, that digital ecosystem, because I think it's a great segue for John to, let us know a little bit about what users can expect from Link and how Link will contribute to the building of this digital ecosystem.
Sure. So I'll share what's in front of us because we'll have some exciting things to come, within the year. But as it stands now, signing up for Link is extremely easy. You just need a cell phone. If you're on the digital network, you can utilize it on data for free. So we're not going to draw down on your data plan when you're using Link on digital. Eventually, we'll also offer it on the other telecom provider, that is Flow. Once you would have signed up, we're going to allow you to send money between your peers P2P instantly. So I can look up Mario. If Mario has a Link wallet, I can send him money. We'll also be offering JamDex, which is CBDC, within the wallet. And then you'll be able to do a couple of things once you get funds in. You'll be able to pay your bills. You'll be able to buy mobile credit. 95% of Jamaicans are prepaid, so we have to tap into that ecosystem and allow them to top up their mobile devices. We will be leveraging the NCB ecosystem in terms of their ABM rails to allow you to go take your cash into an ABM and fund your wallet immediately. And we're also looking at some partners to assist us in the rural areas where the ABMs don't exist. right? We're going to be looking at some other components that will allow you to transact online. So we're going to be also launching the merchant side of our platform, where the larger merchants or even the smaller merchants will have a pay with link button, and you'll be able to click on the button similar to how you pay with credit cards if you have a credit card or a Visa or MasterCard debit card, and also pay with link on your most popular and common channels. So these are some of the things that we expect you to see between now and the summer. And then, of course, we'll have other Twitter spaces to share to the next set of features that we have to come on the platform as we grow the ecosystem and allow you to utilize Lynk and JamDex almost everywhere in Jamaica.
We were losing you for about the last 10 seconds. If you could just repeat that again first.
Sure. No, I was saying that we're going to be rolling out the merchant side of our platform, which will allow customers to use Link to pay with Link online, similar to how you pay with your credit card or debit card. If you do have one, you'll have the option to pay with Link, and we'll have an experience that you'll go through to authenticate and authorize that transaction. So the plan for us between now and summer is to grow the ecosystem with Link, allow customers to do the common things that they do now with cash within the ecosystem of this digital wallet. And then, of course, stay tuned within the summer when we have another Twitter space to share to the next set of features that we plan to roll out on the platform.
Oh, thanks for that, John. I've been speaking on mute all this time. We're going to take a question now from Sean Neal. Then we'll take one from Steph C. And then the other one from Lizzie.
All right. Hi, guys. Good night again. Shawneel here. Quick question. I don't, well, I was kind of hearing pieces of what you were just saying, but basically my question is, I know that for one, it's going to go straight to your link account as mentioned, but for those, I heard something about rural, etc. How does, there's a large percentage of Jamaicans that don't have a bank account. How would they get access to the funds from this app? That was my main question. I don't know if you answered already, but yeah.
No, so I probably didn't. And if I didn't, let me be clear with it now. So that's an excellent question. That's one of the things that we'll have to provide to Jamaicans. Remember, no, you don't need a bank account to use Link. So when you do have when you do have funds in your Link account and you want to get the cash out, the first step or the first phase of rollout for us is that you will be able to go to any NCB ABM or smart ABM and select Link as an option and then cash out or cash in. Right? So you don't need a bank account, but now you can access the banking rails, go to the ABM and take the cash out. And we're also looking at strategic partners and locations that would allow persons to access other organizations to cash in and cash out in the event that they don't have a bank account. So you don't need a bank account for Link. We're not targeting bank account holders. We really want people to be able to utilize the platform, irrespective of their banked or unbanked, get cash in and take cash out.
Okay, and just to ask quickly, I know you mentioned that. Thank you for that answer, by the way. But I know you mentioned Visa and Mastercard situation. But what I was gonna ask is that, and I don't know if it's dumb because I'm not like a tech person, but basically for persons, I know that there's some banks right now that only have like a multi-link card. It wouldn't be an issue, right? Because as you're saying that once you sign into the ATM, well, I guess writing your PIN, it's going to be like probably requesting like your phone number or something, and then you just pull what you need to pull.
Yeah, so we're looking at different elements for the experience, but we're going to be utilizing QR codes, and you can interface with it. So you won't need a card to interface with the ABM. All you need is your phone.
I'm sorry, you chipped out. All I need is the what?
The phone. All you need is your phone. You won't get a card to interface with the ABM. All you need is your phone, and we'll provide an experience with a QR code, and then you get access to your account, and you can instruct the ABM to accept cash or cash out.
Understood. No problem. Thanks for the clarification.
Sure.
All right, thanks again for that, John Mark. I think Lizzie was next with her question.
Hello.
Yeah, Lizzie, the floor is yours.
Okay, yes, I just have two questions. What if you lose your phone after you have signed up with links? What can you do to recover your information in your account? Also, you had said that if we sign up before April the 1st, we don't physically have to go anywhere. I didn't catch what you were talking about, so can you expound on that?
Okay, so let me start with the second question, which is how you get the account. So with Link, you can onboard remotely. You don't have to physically visit a branch or any brick and mortar location to get access to the app, right? All you do is download the app. You go through an authentication process. You provide us with your phone number. We'll send you a code, an SMS verification code. You provide us with your email address. Most persons do have email addresses now. And then you're going to supply us with your government issued ID. That would be your passport, your driver's license, or your voter's ID. And then you have to take a selfie. You can do all of this anywhere you would like to, in your home, at work, on the road, wherever you feel comfortable. You can onboard. Once we capture this information, we have systems in place to verify who you are, and then you get access to the account, all remotely, right? So you do that in the convenience of your home, wherever you choose. So that's one. So that's where we're saying that you didn't need to visit any physical infrastructure to get the wallet. The second question now is, how do you recover? Let's say you lost your phone. So people, your phone might be stolen or you might lose your phone. The good thing is that during your onboarding process, we captured some information about you, right? Your face, some things that can't be easily replicated. So once you lose your phone, you can contact us. We can through some verification process shut down your wallet if you require. Or if you get a new phone and you want to onboard and access your wallet, we're going to run you through a verification process utilizing some of the technology that we have, like checking that the face that was on file is the same face now that is trying to get access to this account. And therefore, once all these things match, you can then unlock your account on a new device. So we have a myriad of things in place to ensure that you, the customer, are protected. Whether you change your phone, you lose your phone, whatever the case is, and you want to recover that information, we will allow you to do it remotely. And most of it is based on the information that you provided to us during onboarding. And that is why we ask you to take the selfie, because people can impersonate, they can get information about you online, but your face is your face, and we're going to ask you to do your movements. And once those match compared to what was done prior, we then unlock your account for you.
Okay, thanks much for that. I just want to confirm though. You had said something about April 1st.
Yeah.
Is this something going to change after April 1st when it comes to applying for links? And once you get your wallet on your phone, when you get on your phone, do you have to log in, or once you have the phone, once you get open the app, it's automatically open and people can use it if the phone is stolen?
Oh, no, no, no. So, right. So, once you get the app, you can choose to log in with a PIN, or you can choose to log in with biometrics. So, if you have an iPhone, you can use fingerprint on the older devices. The newer devices will allow you to use your Face ID on the iPhone. On the Android phones, they give you both options, depending on what you choose, whether that be your fingerprint or your face, and then the other things. So, once you sign into the app will stay open for some time, a short period of time, and then it locks itself. So once you try to go back into the app, it's going to ask you to re-authenticate, which means that you need to either show your face, use a fingerprint, or enter the PIN. So I hope that answers that question around what happens when you go back in. So the app isn't open all the time, not at all. It does close out after a certain period, and then you have to re-authenticate to go back in. The second question you ask is April 1st, right? So the only thing that changes in the app on April 1st would be that you now get the option to opt in to get a JamDex account or a CBDC wallet. So on April 1st within our app, or sometime in April within our app, you'll see this option where you can now opt in, and then we will eventually open an account for you. And once the government has identified that these persons qualify within the first 100,000 customers, they will then disburse the funds in CBDC to your JamDex component within the Link wallet.
All right, I see Sean Neal has a follow-up question, but before I let you go again, Sean Neal, let me allow another individual get paid daily. I have two questions. Um, so is there any possibility of a future where you'll have a web interface for the application itself that I'll be able, just like how I'll be able to sign into any of my bank accounts and get a statement or print out the list of transactions that I've done, or just to get a clearer view of reports um, of my transactions on the app. That's one. And the second one um, is there any future where you guys have a kid friendly or a child version of this app coming out? Because if, for example, I send my daughter to school and the school for some reason signs up with Link, and I don't want to give her money, I'd probably feel safer giving her, sending her a phone, and she can say, "Well, Daddy, you know what? I need to buy this, but I don't have enough money." I could just link her the money, and she would be able to move forward and make the purchase. So is there any future where there's a kid friendly version and also web version? I mean, for the web version, it's probably just to check, but not with the full features of transferring our soul as the app as the actual app would.
All right, so I think those are excellent questions. So as it stands now, Link is built mobile first, right? It's a digital wallet that exists on your phone. So most of your interaction, because of the security that is built into your phone that we are leveraging, we're going to keep it mostly on the mobile, right? We might have plans in the future to allow some web interface access. Not really in the roadmap right now, but let me not say no. Anything is possible. So as we build and scale the ecosystem, there might be need for a web interface, and you might see one pop up. But as it stands now, we're focusing mostly on the mobile just because of the built-in security that we can get from the mobile device. And as you know, things are easily hackable once they go online in a browser and on a computer. So your phone is usually secure. You're driving to work and you forget your wallet, you might say, let me borrow some money from a friend. But if you leave your phone, you're turning back, right? So people keep their phones safe. The phones do come with some security that we're leveraging, and therefore we want to keep the wallet within the phone ecosystem. But again, let me not knock, web, but it's not on the roadmap now. The second question I think is extremely important about a child account. We call it junior. So yes, we are, we see the need for the fact that parents don't want to send the kids on the road with cash. Cash is dirty and cash is also dangerous, right? So we are, and eventually we'll be looking into allowing parents to create sub wallets, junior wallets, or child wallets, depending on what our amazing marketing team is going to coin it as, where we will be able to allow you to eventually, coming soon. So just watch the space where we'll allow you to create a wallet for a minor. Um, and of course, distribute funds to that wallet that they can then interface in places where Link is accepted and available, or JamDex is accepted and available safely.
All right, John. Thanks for that again. And just to sum it up, because you were falling off a little bit. Yes, there's a junior account that is coming, and to answer the question before, uh, John alluded to that. While somebody can steal your phone, they can't steal your money once it is in Link. That's how strong our security is. We're running a little bit over time, so I'm going to close
But
out
I have
with.
one more question. I have one
Yeah,
more question from the timeline. So, and I think it's a very interesting question. Somebody wants to know, will a customer from Link balance be insured by the JDIC similar to a bank account at a financial institution? I think that's a very interesting question to ask, nonetheless.
Let me see if I understand that. Is a customer's account on Link secured by the JDIC?
It's similar to a bank account at a financial institution.
Well,
Yeah, so
you see, Link, we want to differentiate Link from a bank account, right? So Link is not a bank account. There are some securities that are put in place around the ecosystem. That is why we are regulated. But Link does not fall under a lot of the banking regulations, right? So, we Link the company, we ensure that we put mechanisms in place to protect the customer's accounts, and that's a part of our terms and conditions, and you can read through them. But not every single thing that happens to a bank account will happen with Lynk. And remember, we are not a bank; we are a wallet. Yes, we are a part of a financial group that owns a bank, but not everything that happens to a bank account will happen with Lynk. Lynk is fluid. It's very agile, it's very nimble, and it allows us to do a lot of things within the ecosystem that some traditional banks, based on the regulations, cannot do. So that's the whole point of us being a fintech, so we can provide you with innovative, disruptive, groundbreaking things in how you transact. And that's why we're coming to disrupt the market. And of course, along with JamDex, you're going to see a lot of payment innovation happening in the space.
All right, John, we were losing
All
you
right,
a
come
little
on.
bit there. So let me just go back to. I'm going to take two more, Shawneel and Bearded Dre, and then we will close off tonight's spaces.
Thank you. Follow me to ask another question. Quick question. I've known of instances where somebody that has gone through a crime, basically where, the thieves are getting a little handy. So what they do is that they would say, hey, yes, I'm stealing your phone, but you need to open it with your face, then you need to give me your PIN, and then they go to an ATM and do what they need to do. So I asked to say, because I heard you mention that it's protected by biometrics and a PIN, if that does happen to someone, is there contingency to consider, okay, can I get a refund because that was fraudulently taken from my Lynk account, etc.?
So that's a good question. So we do have a fraud team in place that will address the case. And in the event that, unfortunately, which we don't expect to happen on the platform, but unfortunately, your account, you are defrauded, or, you lost your money due to some means that the system caused, then, we will put
No,
policies
I'm
and
not hearing
mechanisms.
you at all, okay? You're breaking
You're
up.
not hearing me? All right, let me see if I can switch and come off the Wi-Fi. All right. Tell me if you're hearing me any better now.
Yeah, it's better. It's improved.
Okay, right. No, so what I'm saying is that we do have a team in place to treat cases like this. And once we investigate and realize that it is a true case where the customer unfortunately was hacked or defrauded, then we will put things in place to address that situation with the customer and possibly enable a refund. But yeah, we're not going to leave you in the dark at all. We will investigate, and if the case is valid, then we will work with you to ensure that you get back your funds, and we will put through the necessary protections moving forward.
Thank you.
Kemo, if you're talking, you're on mute again.
Yeah, man, I'm here, John. Seems like the internet giving us a little fight again. I don't want Link to break the internet once more. So I'm just going to take that last question from Bearded Dre. Then I'm going to ask everybody else who has questions. We want your questions. Just tweet us at Link Jamaica with the hashtag LinkUp with all your questions, and we will ensure that we get those questions answered for you today into tomorrow. So Bearded Dre, over to you, and then we will close out the space.
All right, thank you very much. Good night, everyone. All right, so this is a personal question, somewhat. For those persons like myself who haven't signed up just yet, of course, you need a photograph to be uploaded, and you need to do a short video. I'm realizing. So my photograph that I'm about to upload, it does not have me bearing a beard. However, now I am. Will I be able to sign up with no issues at all?
Absolutely. So we're not comparing your facial here. And that's a really good question, because women change their hairstyle too, don't it? Um, so there are some points on your face that don't change, and those are the points that we are looking at when we're comparing your selfie video to your ID. So the facial here is not something that we're analyzing. There are some components on your face that our system is looking at, and once those match up, and you get over 80% match, then we will verify that bearded Dre is bearded Dre, even though he never had a beard before in the previous picture, and then we will validate and allow you to get into the app. So you don't have to worry about changing your style. We're not following the style at all.
And just to add to what John is saying, and just to make it very clear, Dre, is that it's not a photograph that you're uploading, but you're taking an in-app picture of your valid government ID. It's not a photograph of the ID, but an ID of this. Sorry, we're taking a picture of the ID itself and not a picture of the photograph of the ID. I hope that was clear. So again, I'm going to thank everyone for taking the time to join our spaces. Mario, you have been excellent, an excellent rep for the Bank of Jamaica. John, likewise for you with Lynk. For those of you who have not yet downloaded the Lynk app, I encourage you today to go into the Play Store, whether it's Google or the Apple Store, download Lynk. All you need is your face, a valid government ID, and a smartphone. It's as simple as that. You will immediately get a Lynk account once we verify you. And of course, having Lynk automatically qualifies you for a JamDex account, which means that come April 1, you'll be able to get $2,500 from the government once you opt in to the JamDex account via Lynk. With Lynk, your earning potential is exponential. I hope everybody got that. With Lynk, you can keep earning from now till thy kingdom come. If you're ever short on money, ever short on funds, just refer 4 friends, and just like that, you have a grand. You can buy something to eat. Thanks again to everybody. If there are any more questions, just tweet us at Link Jamaica with the hashtag LinkUp. We'll accept your questions, and then we will answer them tonight into tomorrow.
And thanks again to the Link team and the BOJ team for being here as well, just to kind of clarifying what everything means
Christian,
from
thank
Link
you.
and CBDC. So yeah.
Thank you very much.